Hello and welcome back. Now in this video we're going to continue with this courtyard and we have some big stairs that we need to get in here. Now if we go back to our working area over here, we'll see that we do have some big staircases. We've already used this little one, but we have some larger staircases we can work with. Here are a couple of wide staircases. Some of these are curvy, and so if we wanted to, we can make some curves. And if we wanted to say use a curved staircase along with some curved walls, we could see if we can make this work somehow. We do have some walls that are slightly curved that would possibly work with something like that could actually work. So if we copy these over, flip the scale, and just use them to cover the edges like that, then we have something that looks relatively like a pretty good staircase. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and copy one of these staircases over to our working area so that we can work with it. So let's go ahead and get this staircase. I'm going to also select the geometry behind it. That way we know exactly how tall it has to be and what it needs to look like on either side. So let's go ahead and copy this over. Here is our staircase. And let's go ahead and bring over something from over here. Looks like we created something possibly promising here. Let's see how it looks. So I'm going to copy it over and we're going to need to rotate this by 90 degrees. So let's do that. And let's just kind of bring it over and start to experiment. So we can bring this up over. Now we need to know how far down the actual stairs go because it looks like the stairs don't quite go down as far as the geometry does. So we're going to need to scale this a bit. So let's go ahead and make it a little taller and bring it down. And it definitely needs to line up with the ground. And we also want it to reach out far enough. So let's go ahead and scale it out in this direction and then bring it in till it's roughly coming out just enough. Now we want this lip to be aligned, so we're going to scale this until it looks right. We can bring this up. Now it's curved, right? So it's not going to be perfect. We just need to make sure that it looks relatively good. Now it can stick up a little bit, but we don't want it to be too much. So that's looking pretty good. We can also turn off snapping for a bit more precision. Now, do our edges cover the edges of the stairs as we need them to? Well, let's turn off snapping for rotation and just get them to line up just right. And of course we can scale these up too. So let's keep in mind we can make these bigger like this and we can bring them down. And of course we can take our blue geometry, move it down just to make sure that everything looks good. And I think that's looking pretty promising. I'm going to delete the left side and then duplicate the right side and take its Y component and flip the sign so that it's flipped around and then just kind of move it over. Make sure that it's covering up the geometry. We might have to rotate it. If we have to, that's fine, but it looks like we might be okay. Okay, that actually looks pretty nice. So I'm going to group these together. Right click, group, and now we have a nice staircase. So let's go ahead and we'll bring up this geometry back up to it. And let's take our group staircase and let's go ahead and copy it and bring it over to our level here. Okay, so we're in our courtyard. Let's bring it up to this level and connect it here. Now, of course, we're going to turn off the super grid and see how it looks just by itself. And that way we can make any adjustments as we need to. I'm thinking that it needs to go up just a bit. There we go. And I think I'm pretty much happy with this. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to turn this grid back on and see what it looks like on the other side. It looks like this other side could potentially just be a reuse of this side, right? We got this staircase, we got this ground. We could probably copy that over to here. In fact, we could probably copy it a couple of times. So if we can reuse stuff, then I think that is going to save us some time. So yeah, this staircase is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and copy the ground and the staircase together and bring it on over here and rotate by 180. And it looks like I forgot to turn snapping back on. There we go, 180. And let's just bring this edge back out, see how this looks. So it does look good, except that these arches are a little bit too far, but that's fine. We can fix that. So if we go ahead and just bring this, I'd say one notch farther, there we go, then that's going to look pretty good. We can take these arches though, and we can delete some of them. I don't want to delete the end, but rather I want to delete one of these sections and then bring the end over. So let's bring this end part in and connect it. And it looks like I deleted a piece I didn't need to, so I'm going to go ahead and copy one and bring it over here, just like that. And you know what? Just to make things interesting, why don't we knock one of these over? I'm going to take this one here at the end, knock it over by 90 degrees and lay it on the ground, and we can just take this piece that it was holding up, and maybe it's missing. Maybe we can find the broken version of that piece. The non-broken version is called Jungle Wall 01A. Here's Jungle Wall 01B, the broken version. So why don't we use a broken version and stick it right here and rotate it a bit, and we'll need to scale it down a little. And so that way it looks like this kind of toppled over a bit. So yeah, I kind of like that idea. And for this stack here, I'm going to just kind of rotate these a bit, play a little Jenga, if you will, make them a little bit less perfect. And this one too, I'm going to rotate this over, make it a little less perfect, the bottom one too slightly, and push this one in a little. You know, that way these look more like ruins that have sort of gone through the ringer, you know, that there's been some damage over the centuries. So that's going to just make things look more realistic. Okay, I like that. Okay, so that's looking good. Now, for this part right here, there's a little bit of floor that is missing. So I'm going to go ahead and take this floor and ungroup it and simply take these pieces here and copy them over. And I'm going to copy them twice and look up from the bottom just to make sure that we're aligning these perfectly. And with those extras selected, I'm going to copy these two and bring these copies over to the other side. There we go. Now remember, this floor over here had a black piece of geometry beneath it. We need to make sure that we copied that as well. So if we look over here, it looks like if we hide the super grid, we can see up beneath it. So we do need to copy that black geometry. So here's the black geometry. We can't really see it that well. I'd like it to be beneath everything. So let's bring it down below and we can copy this geometry over. So let's copy it, bring it on over. Now I think we're going to have lots of copies. So I'm going to scale this up over here like that. It wouldn't be a bad idea to just have a black plane beneath the entire level, but for our purposes, this will do. Okay, so we have this courtyard here. Let's go ahead and turn the geometry back on. And the courtyard's looking pretty good. In the next video, we're going to take care of these stairs here. I did notice, however, that we're missing a little bit. If I turn off the super grid, we're missing a piece here of the wall. So before we wrap this up, let's go ahead and simply fill in that gap. So all I need to do is ungroup this section, select these three, copy them down like so, copy them over, and then copy all of these pieces and bring them over just like that. And with all of these selected, and I just need a couple more here, we'll fill in that gap, and then I can select the entire bottom row. Starting to get a little tight here. Right click, let's group these, and we'll copy it over. Okay. That's going to look pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and turn snapping off and just bring it up a little. And I'm going to do the same thing for this side, just to fill in those cracks. All right, so that's going to go ahead and conclude this video. It looks like this courtyard is coming along nicely. We're going to take care of the rest of the stairs and that final room as well as this statue in the videos to come. We're almost done. I will see you in the next video.